rank as one of the most ridiculous videos I think I've ever made. I'm just at the point now where I think it's just about possible now to do a pro gig with your iPhone. Yes, that day has arrived. And what has made that day arrive? IK Multimedia's Tonex, which is their sort of artificial intelligence modeling software, is now available on iOS, so you can run it on your iPhone or your iPad. It's awesome. It's basically using the same sound and the same quality of reproduction of those models as you get in the desktop version. Now, I've been working on the desktop version since it came out. I've got some great tones. I posted some videos of me still working through it. I still have to spend some time with it. I'm about to bring it on stage. I think it's just about stable enough for me to do that. But when this dropped, this is a different type of game changer, because what this one means is that for the Brian May or Queen fan guitarist, is for very little outlay, you can actually get that tone off your phone. And I'm just going to show you some sounds just so you can hear it. So here's actually I'll show you what I'm using. I do have a real treble booster. I still am addicted to those. They work really well when you're cleaning up the volume pedal. That one's a Fryer, and I just have an iPhone. This is an iPhone 13. I'm using it to record the whole session. And an Apogee Jam interface. Now, it could really be any interface, it's just that's the one that I particularly like when using with my phone at the moment, but I can use it too. Now, just to say that I'm just monitoring out of this little speaker here, and that's just so I can kind of hear what I'm doing. This is amazing. It sounds incredible. How it works is as a plugin or as a standalone app that you can run on your phone. Now, what I'm doing now is I'm running it as a plugin using AUM, which is another app. And basically what that, if you like, is like a virtual pedal board or mixing desk. And you can drop in all your various effects. And what I'm doing is I'm using one of the Vox AC30s that's available in Tonex. I think it's on the Pro tier. I'll come back to you about that or put it in the comments. But I'm using that to generate the amp sound. I'm using an impulse response that I created in a separate plugin, and on another channel I have the same amp and the same impulse response, and I have a chorus effect at the top of it. So this is a kind of a thing I had in my head about something that Brian May did about 30 years ago, which is his only instructional video, one called Starlicks. And basically they ran into a video studio. The whole thing is a bit rough and ready, and it's still a bit of a classic though, because you get to hear Brian May show off his licks and the whole lot. I'll link it below or in one of those magic boxes that appear at the top of the screen. But because of the rushed nature of it, it made me think, what would Brian May do nowadays if he didn't have access to his roadie or his guitar tech and all of his gear? And now we're at the stage where this little device that we all carry around with us at any given moment in time can possibly do that job. And I've set up this rig, this virtual rig, as he did that day. So if you listen, on one side there's a sort of a dry roaring AC30, and on the other side there's an AC30 which has the the chorus effect at the top of it. So I thought I'd do something that would be a bit like if Brian had to do this same sort of trick again in 2022. And that's basically, he might have his phone with him, he might be running this plugin and a few others, and it's the same sort of sound, which is what he was using in 1984, just chorus and a dry Vox at the same time. It sounds incredible. Do you hear how responsive it is to the volume control? So this is AUM. I'm just switching through the channels here, and as I say, it's a bit like a virtual mixer. So in each channel you can load different plugins. So what I've loaded, and I'll just open up Tonex in the first channel, is here's Tonex now. So it appears in a little window, and I put a little Vox AC30 in it. I know this is the comp window because I have a little bit of compression on it, but if you click into tone model, you can see there it is, turn AC on model, which I'm actually using a lot on the desktop version. I do hope to make my own models. I'll come back to you about that. It's going to be an interesting project, but in any case, so we have that. I don't have a speaker. You can use the speaker set that it comes with. So they have model speakers that you can change the mics on. That's very cool. But I have a little impulse response here that I load up in Impulsation, which is another plugin you can get. Just how I wanted to do it today because I like the sound of that impulse response. On the next channel, I have this plugin here, and it's simply called Chorus, or excuse me, FAC Chorus. And what I like about it is it seems to work very well with the guitar and the treble booster. And I have used it with other amp sims, and I found it quite useful because it has that real sort of old Boss CE1 sound down very nicely. So just set it up for mono because it's going into a single amp. You can set it up in stereo if that's more appropriate. You have all of these controls in terms of the input gain and output gain. Input gain is kind of important because it's possible to clip these things very easily, and that can be a not very nice sound. But I just did a very basic little mix of the two of those. In the last channel, I just have a mixer, and the mixer is just to make this a little bit more pleasant for the ear. Now what I'm trying to get after here is sort of a amp in the room sound. So I have a lot of room ambience in the impulse response that I'm using on the amps. But at the same time, I have done some equalization just to take some of the boomy low end out of it. And this plugin is called Visual EQ Console. Again, I'll link it down below. It's an absolute must-have. Now, if you have an iPad, you have access to some more technology, like IK Multimedia's T-Rex software is there. So essentially, you could build up a rig that's very similar to what IK Multimedia actually have in Amplitude 5. It's kind of a pity that they haven't released Amplitude 5 for iPads yet because they're well capable of doing it. Hopefully something like that is coming soon. But for me, as I've described before, I gig with a Mac Mini. I gig with the AXIO interface. It sounds absolutely amazing. And if I can get that software onto something as small as this or an iPad, then I'm probably taking one bag and my wig to the gig, which is going to be very light. So that's what's out there, and I'll probably come back with some recipes and what you can do with it, but I'll just give you some more examples of what it does.